As the Red River rose to over 40 feet, called a minor flood stage by the locals, most of us safely scampered to safety. Unfortunately, a few RVers left behind their rigs and used the shutdown as an opportunity to travel far away from the Beet Harvest area to places like Minneapolis, St. Paul, and to Fargo. This particular RVer drove into waters too deep and had to be towed back to safety, but unfortunately not until after his engine became submerged. At 10 a.m., the park ranger, along with express professional staffers, came around with the evacuation notice. You could see our cougar, followed by my daughter and her family, who started full-time RVing this past year, and bringing up the rear is my son, who has been a full-time van dweller for over 3 years. You can follow my daughter Melissa's and her family's adventures on Learning As We're Living YouTube channel and Facebook. Our mini caravan was quickly joined by a pair of Rockwood fifth-wheelers. And I started wondering about how many years on the road my neighbors must have accumulated. In under 30 minutes, most of the campers in the campground had packed up and scampered to safety. Our evacuation worries began on Monday as the Red River approached 38.5 feet above flood stage, and the rumors began that the campground would probably have to evacuate if the water rose to more than 40.5 feet above flood stage. At this point, Scott, my son, and I decided to walk the park and check it out for ourselves. What we saw didn't look good for either of us. The water was within 50 feet of reaching the outlying campsites, with very little elevation rise to the central part of the campground. Even the bike path surrounding the campground became submerged under the approaching water. Scott and I then decided we wanted to get an eagle's eye view of the rising water levels surrounding the campground. We became alarmed as we saw the trees usually found on the banks of the Red River deep underwater. Remember that if you want to keep up on our 2019 sugar beet sava, remember to hit the bell. This way our videos will come quickly to your doorstep. But our true interest of the Route 2 excursion was to see what effect the Red River rising had on the banks where the Red River met the campground. We quickly became dismayed when we saw that the banks of the Red River not only surrounded the campground, but also had very little elevation left before the campground would eventually flood. You can see the bicycle pathway in the foreground and the campground in the distance. Early Monday morning, I anxiously headed towards the flooded banks of the Red River and was dismayed to see that the roads at the edge of the campground were deep underwater. After a quick check on a weather channel, I discovered that the Red River was still expected to rise another half a foot. After a quick glance back at my camper, it confirmed my suspicions that if the Red River rose another half a foot, I would either need to buy fishing waders or at least tall rubber boots. I am sure this Rockwood RV owner was surprised when he walked out of his trailer in the morning and found several inches of water under his doorstep. As word quickly spread that we were to be evacuated, maps were passed out with directions to a nearby Kmart, which had closed its doors. But as I got ready to move my cougar, I realized that the direction of my pad would lead me directly into the flooded roadways ahead. So in order to turn my fifth wheel around, and knowing that the ground was totally saturated around my pad, and I didn't have a 4x4, I set spotters on all sides of the RV and drove onto the campsite directly across from my pad. After driving onto the pad, I was able to make the swing back and heading the wrong way on a one-way road. Good thing the park ranger wasn't around to see me, or I might have gotten a ticket for driving the wrong way on a one-way road. As you can see, everyone's underway or almost underway. The fifth wheels, the motorhomes, and even the camp host are packing up, getting ready to go, with the understanding we're all meeting at the Kmart to find out what the latest update is on the crystal sugar beet harvest season. Well, here we are. So far there are 27 RV units parked in rows in the Kmart parking lot, wondering why it wasn't a Walmart parking lot, or at least we can shop on our days off. I, for one of the 27 here, have to give thanks to the very helpful Crystal Sugar full-time RVers who organized generators for us all and made sure we had fuel to last the night. Dumpsters arrived to handle our trash needs, and early this morning, several porta potties showed up for the van dwellers. For your enjoyment, I'm going to let the noise run in the background while you see the mismatched gathering of our generators. With our generator being a 12,000 watt generator, I'm hoping that Mary might get some sleep tonight, where at the noise she didn't get much last night. To keep up on the latest updates to the 2019 sugar beet harvest, ring the bell, subscribe, and like our video. Just in, 2 RVers snuck out during the middle of the night, now bringing us down to 25 RVs in the Kmart parking lot. At 3 p.m., a meeting will be held by Crystal Sugar along with Express Professionals for 3 offers for our future employment. To be the first updated, remember, ring the bell.